Hey everyone, I'm Maddie and today we're talking about post-Disney depression. So before we get into it, I just wanted to make a quick disclaimer. When I refer to the term post-Disney depression, it is specifically in regards to the term that is just being generally used by the zeitgeist, that is the Disney online community, to describe a feeling of great sadness upon leaving the Disney bubble. But this is just a general low mood state, as opposed to a clinically diagnosed disease like actual clinical depression. So with that disclaimer out of the way, I just wanted to quickly introduce myself. If you're new to my video, I just returned, oh my god, it was 3 months ago now, I returned from the Disney World Cultural Exchange Program. I'm from Australia, so it's the international equivalent of the college program. I was there from January to June. If you're interested in seeing what my experiences were like while I was there, I've got a whole playlist of when I vlogged my program, which will be up here. Is that the right way? No, it's that way. That way. Yes, that way. And let's get into it.
Alright everyone, put on your opera glasses because it's time to present Maestro Mickey Mouse and the Philharmagic Orchestra.
Post-Disney depression hit me hard. I knew it was a thing, I didn't realize quite how much of a thing it would be. So I feel like I can kind of break it down to a few aspects. The biggest is the fact that you are leaving your friends. You are leaving your cast member fellow friends, you're leaving your roommates, and the majority of my friends stayed on. Or they were going to leave soon after. And not only that, I left on the day when new things were opening up. So when people talk about fear of missing out, it wasn't just the fear of missing out. I felt like I was missing out because there were all these videos online and on Instagram of people trying out the new Harry Potter coaster, having the Galaxy's Edge previews. I mean, even now I still feel a twinge of it when I look at my Instagram feed, and definitely when I came home, I did not have a healthy relationship to social media because at that time, when you're at Disney, literally everything is just associated with Disney. Your Facebook feed is filled with the Disney Facebook groups. Your Instagram, if you're like me especially, who created a separate Instagram for the program, you're literally only following other Disney Instagrammers. And all the news sites that you're checking are mostly something to do with theme parks or Disney. And so you get home and it's all still there. And it's really fresh in your mind and you just feel like you want to be back there. And it's rough. I think especially hard was the fact that I was leaving my friends, I was leaving Disney, and then I came back home. And I didn't really have anything to do. Now I feel like it's so much easier if you were, say, working and had a job lined up, or if you were going straight back into uni, because then you have this additional thing of straight away you're jumping back into something and immediately people will know you're back because you are doing something and interacting with more people. For me, I've already graduated university. I actually finally got around to doing my graduation ceremony actually a couple of weeks ago. But I didn't really have much social interaction for the first couple of weeks that I was back, mainly because my friends who were still at uni, they were all in the middle of exam period, so they were busy, and I'll admit, I'm not the best at reaching out to people to, you know, get in contact and meet up with people, so that didn't help. So basically, I wasn't really getting much social interaction other than from social media, which was entirely filled with things that I was missing out on because I was back in little old Adelaide and not at Disney World. That wasn't the only problem that I had upon getting back because I had sprained 2 fingers. So the entire reason why I came back from Disney and didn't extend is because I had to prepare for auditions and look at starting masters next year. So for those of you who don't know, I am a classical musician. I really need my fingers to play. And so when I got back home, I couldn't play my flute. I couldn't practice piano. And the thing is, before Disney, I was basically just at uni. And if I wasn't at uni in a rehearsal or a lesson or practicing at uni, I was at home listening to music or just on YouTube or playing video games or just doing something music related. So I'll admit, basically Disney filled that hole of I always had something to do. And then I got back home and social media was getting me down. I couldn't actually work on the things that I was supposed to career-wise because I literally physically couldn't. And I didn't really have any other hobbies because my hobby is my career. So it really wasn't a good time. I basically spent the first couple of weeks, I blazed through Kingdom Hearts 3. Now, something you have to keep in mind when you come back from Disney, literally you see hidden Mickeys everywhere. And then to start playing a game which has hidden Mickeys as a collectible item, and you're seeing hidden Mickeys that aren't actually official hidden Mickeys in the game, and it gets really frustrating, and I'm rambling, sorry. But, so I was playing video games, and sure, living the dream, staying at home playing video games, not doing much. No. It's fun for like maybe a day, but after that, it's just, it gets old. And that's probably when I was at my lowest point, right when I came back, just because I just felt so stuck. I felt like I was stagnating, because when you're at Disney, literally every day you're doing something. Whether it's working or going to the parks, and you always have something new to look forward to, and then to suddenly have all of that taken away, and you're literally just wasting the day away. It's tough. And to be honest, I think I also needed the break, because after essentially working for 5 months straight, with only 2 days off a week, which aren't really days off because you go into the parks, like energy-wise, I did need the break, but generally my head was not in a good place. Now we got all the bad stuff out of the way, now I'm actually going to talk about how I got through it. Now keep in mind, this is entirely purely anecdotal and not a guide to how to solve all your problems, but hopefully maybe you can relate or learn from this, I don't know. I'm just making this video almost to kind of get these feelings out there and to communicate and kind of also maybe commiserate as well with those of you who have experienced post-Disney depression. So really what got me out of that rut, at least social-wise, was rejoining a choir. Now for anyone who's going back to uni or work, this kind of serves the same purpose. It's the fact that most people don't realise that you're actually back until they see you. They might have seen something on social media that you posted saying that you're back, but they're not really going to register until they see you in person. And so I rejoined the choir that, as an alumni of the university, I have been singing in choirs for over 10 years. Not a trained singer in the slightest, but I've always sung in choirs. And so after exam period, mid-year break, I finally got to rejoin the university choir, and that made a lot of difference because A, I was getting out of the house once a week to a rehearsal, B, I was hanging out with 60 odd people every single week, and C, I was finally getting back into doing something musical, so it kind of satisfied all these different areas that I was really struggling with. And from there my social life generally kicked up a bit because people realised that I was back and invited me to do things. And also soon after we got into a really busy period because we had, I think it was like 3 or 4 concerts in the space of 2 weeks. So it was a really busy period with rehearsals, dress rehearsals. It was great fun and I felt like I was doing something meaningful again. Now around the same time as rejoining the choir, throughout this entire time, I was having weekly hand physio sessions, and I was finally getting to the point where I could actually start playing again, and that also made a huge difference. And so now I had something to work towards. I had auditions to prepare for, I had pieces to learn, and all of a sudden there's this other thing of also getting back my technique because I kind of took 6 months off. So that was great. And along with that, finally being able to play piano again was the other big thing, because then I could get back into transcribing and arranging, which was my other kind of outside of my core career focus fun music thing. And so I finally got back into posting on my other YouTube channel, which is Terminated Weasel, where I post video game music covers. Just recently posted my cover of one of my favourite pieces from Lena Raine's Celeste, and I'll have a link to that up here if you want to go check it out. A lot of fun, flute and piano. Took a while to edit and arrange, but finally got it, and hopefully I can be posting a few of those every now and then. It's a kind of passion project of mine, just transcribing and arranging video game music, but I digress. So at this point, if you're keeping track, we've dealt with the social situation, partially through generally rejoining groups, hanging out with people, and also generally I sort of adjusted my social media. I combined my old personal account with my Disney account on Instagram, and generally I was focusing more on direct engagement with other people rather than passively scrolling through and feeling worse and worse as I scrolled through. So I think combined with that kind of solved that side of the problem. And then I was also able to play music again, so I felt satisfied career-wise, but there's still a bit of a Disney-shaped hole there. And that's because I needed something else to enjoy. That wasn't just music, and for me last year, coming up to the program, that was Disney. And that's when I actually got involved with the Australian January 2020 intake Facebook group and messenger group, and shout out to those guys in the Facebook group chat, because they are amazing people, and I've been really happy that I've been able to help out and answer questions, and it's been so much fun getting that kind of second-hand excitement of people who are getting ready to go. And that planning stage is always really, really fun for me. So I've really been enjoying that. And otherwise, of course, getting back into vlogging as well, but still, I needed something else, because the thing is about Disney is that there's always something new to look forward to, something exciting. When you were at Disney, you'd know one of the most important things would be, what does that new Dole Whip flavour taste like? What is that new cupcake? What is that new Minnie Mouse ear colour? All these different things. There's constantly something new. And I felt like I needed some other kind of diversion in addition to Disney, because Disney wasn't quite big enough to replace that Walt Disney World sized hole in my heart. And I found it in an unlikely place, which was Dungeons and Dragons. Yeah, that's right, Dungeons and Dragons, D&D. Now, before you just switch off this video entirely, let me explain. I actually started playing Dungeons and Dragons while on my program with some American CPs. Had a lot of fun. Scheduling was a nightmare, but we only got 3 or 4 sessions in, but that's where I started playing Dungeons and Dragons, so it is actually connected to Disney. And if you are looking to go on the program, whether it's cultural exchange, college program, there is actually a group on Facebook called D&D CP if you're interested in trying it out or getting with other people and organising a group to play. And I loved it. This is creative storytelling, improv, in a fantasy world, and it's just a lot of fun. It's a blast. And I just reached out, probably about a month ago, I reached out on the local Facebook page saying, hey, I'm interested in joining a group. And I got picked up by Tabletop Fables. So they're an Adelaide-based role-playing group, and we actually stream on Twitch every Tuesday night at 7:30 p.m. Adelaide Central Standard Time. And we do have VODs on Twitch, and then also I think we're a little bit behind at the moment, but hopefully the VODs should also be up on our YouTube channel as well soon enough. But this opened up a whole new door of possibilities for me, because I had a group of people who were all very creatively minded. This was a whole new world that I could jump into, and I had something new to look forward to every week, because you never know what's going to happen in a session, no matter how much planning you do. Not even the dungeon master knows exactly what's going to happen until we get into the session and the dice starts rolling. And along with that, it's also been a really great creative endeavor as well, because obviously we've got some people dealing with the video side of things, some people do amazing art commissions, miniatures, and for me, I started composing again. So it's kind of been the mesh of everything that I needed to cure, I put that in definite quotation marks, cure my post-Disney depression. So I feel like at this stage, I've developed a much healthier relationship with social media. I'm finally doing things that satisfy me creatively and socially on the side of things like Dungeons and Dragons, but also career-wise with working towards auditions, playing chamber music, occasionally playing with wind orchestras, that sort of thing. So I feel like life update-wise, I'm doing great. We're getting there. And that's not to say that I don't still miss Disney, because yes I do, but I'm not kind of wallowing in it like I was originally. And certainly my love of Disney has not waned at all. If anything, it's even more, especially after coming back and my time on the program. And so certainly I really enjoy vlogging. I'm still going to keep on vlogging about Disney, and there's plenty more coming your way. I'm still not sure exactly what I'm going to be posting next week, so I'd highly recommend checking out my Instagram at philharmaddie, because I'll be posting a poll sometime in the next few days asking what do you want to see. So stay tuned for that, and stay tuned for next week's vlog. But until then, TTFN.